You know you're talented, you're dominating in training, but scouts are still passing you over for talent identification opportunities, and I'm going to tell you why. Hey, I'm Coach Garrett with ACTA Football, and I've worked with hundreds of youth national team Division I college and professional players, and I've analyzed exactly what separates players that get recruited from those that get ignored. The difference isn't your technical ability or your physical attributes. It's three specific mental attributes that scouts notice within minutes of watching you play. And the criteria I'm going to share with you comes directly from youth national team and college identification frameworks. And it explains why some players with average skill get recruited while you get ignored. The problem is these qualities require mental training that is completely different from what you're getting in the club environment. Most of your training focuses on drills or formations, but scouts are looking for cognitive abilities that show how you'll perform under pressure. This gap in mental development explains why really gifted players continue to get passed over no matter how much they improve technically. Scouts evaluate the speed of your action, not technical mastery. So if you are playing faster because your decision speed is faster, you will get noticed. Scouts aren't timing your sprints, they are not counting your touches, they are not counting the distance you cover. They're measuring how quickly you process information and how quickly that turns into a decision. I've watched hundreds of hours of game film from elite players, and what separates the very best from the ones that are just average is how quickly they make decisions because they have already evaluated the situation before the ball gets to them. While players at even the top clubs are learning to make decisions as the ball arrives, the best players have already scanned the field and already identified 2, 3, or even 4 options long before the ball gets there. Decision making isn't about soccer IQ or game understanding, it's about the speed at which you process information. It's about how your brain can process multiple variables simultaneously and execute the best solution. During the game, the ball is moving, your teammates are moving, the opponent is moving, and you are even moving, and all of that is happening simultaneously. Elite players process this information instantly, and they arrive at the best solution while some players are still stuck on step 1. The problem with club training is that it can slow down the decision-making process because in training you're being given solutions every step of the way. Every exercise has a prescription for how you should play, how you should perform, the decisions you should make. Those training exercises are structured. The shape, the time intervals, the number of repetitions. But this is very different than how the game actually plays out on Saturday. So if you don't teach your brain to work independently, when the time comes, you will not be able to react quickly enough. You'll hesitate, and scouts will notice. But this is trainable. This is done through specific cognitive training exercises that rewire your brain to recognize these patterns instantly and eliminate the bad decisions in milliseconds instead of seconds. Look, the neuroscience on this is clear. Elite athletes have developed superior neural pathways for making decisions under pressure in real time. But the key is these pathways are built through mental training, not through more touches on the ball. Look, if you're watching this and thinking, this is exactly what I need, I want to process the game faster, I want to develop the ability to see multiple solutions, I want to help you develop these qualities. I work with players to help them develop a personalized plan for getting to the Division I college, youth national team, and even the professional level. And I can use these exact same techniques to help you improve your game speed intelligence. If you want to see how this can transform your game, click the link and book a call with me. Scouts look for resilience, not perfection. You're worried that when a scout is watching you need to play perfectly and get every decision right, but this is completely wrong. What they are actually looking for is your mentality. They want to see how you respond when things go wrong. Not only is this something that scouts will notice, but your teammates and coaches will notice too. And it is incredibly easy to spot. When you lose the ball, do you work hard to get it back immediately? When you make a mistake, do you immediately try to make an impact? When the opponent scores, does your body language drop, or do you immediately transition into revenge mode? One of the most important things that separates elite players from average players is mental resilience. And this does not happen by doing more technical training. The secret is to train your brain to recognize pressure as information, not as danger. If your nervous system goes into fight or flight mode, then your panic levels will continue to rise. This is what average players do. Their heart rate spikes, their vision narrows, and their decision making slows down. But other players use big moments, like when a scout is watching, as an opportunity. It's a chance for them to demonstrate their mental toughness in situations that actually matter. This is about training your nervous system to stay calm and focused when the stakes are highest. And this allows your decision making to improve under pressure instead of deteriorating. The science behind this is really fascinating. When your brain interprets pressure as a challenge rather than a threat, it actually enhances cognitive function. Your pattern recognition gets sharper, your reaction times improve, and your creativity increases. And this is why some players elevate their game in the big moments while others fall apart. Scouts measure adaptability, not organized or structured play. Look, here's something you probably don't realize. Scouts are not impressed by players that execute the same move over and over and over, even if it's perfect. They're looking for self-regulation. They're looking for learning ability. They are looking for adaptability. How quickly can you adapt when your original plan doesn't work out? Sometimes less talented players get recruited because they're able to make adjustments and make an impact, while better players are still trying to execute technically perfect moves even when it isn't working. Scouts want to understand that you know what the game needs in the moment and that you are willing to do what it takes. So to take advantage of this, you have to train your brain to see multiple solutions so you never get stuck with just one option. When you are able to adjust your decision making in real time, scouts understand that you will be able to adapt as the game gets more complex and faster at the higher levels. Think about the professional players you've seen. They're not just executing memorized plays. They're creating solutions in real time. They are not looking for that one correct answer. They are looking for a solution to the problem. And when you develop your problem-solving skills, you will get noticed. Train your brain to look for solutions. Your coach may want safety, but the scout wants impact, and impact comes from solutions. And when you start teaching your brain to process multiple solutions at once, you are able to switch between solutions without hesitation. And players who develop this ability become impossible to defend because your play is no longer predictable. This is the kind of creative problem solving that exists at the higher levels, and it is what scouts notice. And this is what separates the players that get recruited from the ones that get passed over. Look, these three qualities aren't just concepts. They're the foundation of how scouts evaluate players. And they're completely trainable when you understand the science behind it. I put together a strategy call where we can analyze the specifics of your game and see how we can get you making these kinds of decisions and get you scouted. Click the link in the description and let's book a call. This is about rewiring your brain so that you can play like the recruited players do. And if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe because I share the information that separates recruited players from everyone else.